All right, so today I want to talk to you guys about skincare, natural skincare, particularly for acne-prone skin. Ned has a lot to say today, which is always perfect timing. So what I thought I'd do is I want to go through some of the tips and tricks and some of the things that are really important to know when it comes to acne skin and skincare in general, but particularly with acne-prone skin, that in the mainstream seems to get missed, or the marketing sensations of what you need then sort of can cause more damage. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit and then go through. I've got a list of a little pile of products, and I'm going to go through products I've used, products I love, things I've tried, things that work for me, but I know work or don't work for me, might work for you, etc. But we're just going to go through some basic principles. Just to the disclaimer on this, I am a holistic nutritionist. I work on skin from the inside, but my theory is that it's 80% inside job, 20% outside job, or maybe even 90% inside job, 10% outside job. For those of you who are new to the group and don't know me, I am a holistic nutritionist, but I've also struggled with my own skin journey, coming off the oral contraceptive pill probably like 6 years ago now. I think it was about 6 years ago, and having this condition known as post-pill syndrome, which is really common, and it's really common for crazy acne breakouts when you come off the oral contraceptive pill. And I had acne before that. I had it my whole teenage life, and so I've done and tried a lot of different things and made a lot of stupid mistakes. So I've learned a lot along the way, and I've tried many different products that don't work, particularly before I went down the natural route. Realized, like, I did a lot of things that stripped oil from my skin and just caused damage. Bleached my towels, and you're putting that on your face. So I'm just going to share with you what I know, what I've found to be true, what I've found helpful, and hopefully make it simpler for you guys. And if you've got any questions, please type in the chat. Just know as well, if you're not haven't got particularly acne prone skin, that's okay. A lot of this will still apply, because I'm going to talk about different products, but there is definitely a focus on acne prone skin, but it can also apply to any other skin condition like dermatitis, dry skin, eczema, particularly. But the focus is acne. Okay, so first things first, I just want you to know there's a couple of things that I see common, and I'm in a few groups on different skincare groups on Facebook, and I see some common mistakes. Number one is, first of all, people thinking, like I was saying, 80-20, it's inside, outside. Most people think it's mostly outside, and that's where we go wrong first. You've got to look at your diet, you've got to look at your gut health, you've got to look at your nutrient levels, all of that. There is other videos that I've done on these exact topics in this group, or I will post them below in the link. I'll link them below for you so that you can also find them. But we're just talking about the outside part, but just keep in mind that it really is only 20%. And this is the first big mistake that people make, right? They go, oh my gosh, it's all about, and I did this, like thinking it's all about the inside when really it's about the outside. That's number one. Number two is overwashing. So there is this, idea that we've got it's infection. We get infections in the hair follicle. It either turns into a blackhead or a whitehead or a big cystic acne, like a cyst, nodule. And there's this idea that there's too much dirt and bacteria, which there is in some ways. But first of all, what you need to understand is there is also a lot of beneficial microbes on the skin. And so overwashing, over cleansing, using harsh chemicals actually damages, first of all, the microbiome on the skin. So we've got all this good bacteria in our skin, which is part of our immune system. It is also a barrier. So there is a barrier function that our skin plays. It protects us from the outside world. And this is not working properly, like there's this broken down dysfunctional barrier function happening. And this is often made worse by chemicals in our skincare, by overwashing, by stripping the oil from our skin, because we feel like our skin is too oily. We've got to strip it, we've got to dry it out. And what happens is it actually causes more oil to be produced, because the skin potentially is, and a lot of the time this happens, the skin is potentially like it's overproducing oil because it's trying to balance it out. And so the more you wash and the more you strip, the skin will actually try, and the oil, which is the sebum, which is a mix of different things like different waxes and fats and things, it's there for protection. So it's trying to create a protection, and we strip it off so then our skin will make more. So it sounds counterintuitive, but actually overwashing your skin is going to make it worse. And using harsh chemicals also can disrupt the microbiome and disrupt that protective layer. The other thing that can be really one of the big top mistakes is us picking, like squeezing. I am guilty of this, and it can be quite addictive. There's an emotional driver of that as well. And one of the things for me is squeezing blackheads that then get infected. And so that's one of the habits as well. But I really, from what I see, and I know from my own experience, there's almost like this emotional component to picking, because it is quite satisfying. And some people will even go and sit, I know, like nurses and things, or beauty therapists that will be like, go watch things being squeezed on YouTube because they get a kick out of it, because it's really satisfying. And it is satisfying to watch. I will agree with that. But the problem is that if it's not done in the correct way, it can cause more infection and actually make it worse. And as well as the scarring factor, that when you do squeeze, it does make it worse. So they're the three important things. The other thing to notice when you're using conventional skincare or makeup, I'm also going to cover makeup as well, loosely, is really important to know that a lot of the chemicals in the conventional skincare products are endocrine disruptors, which mean they are hormone disrupting chemicals. And it means that they mess with the balance of our hormones, and they can, and endocrine, hormone is a chemical messenger. Endocrine is the hormonal system, that whole system of all our endocrine glands that produce hormones, so ovaries, thyroid, etc. So they can communicate to the rest of our body, right? And things can happen like ovulation and speed up or slow down metabolism and all that stuff, make energy. So they're endocrine disruptors. And so anything that's an endocrine disruptor is really not good for your hormonal health. And this is why I'm really big on going, okay, well, you've got to reduce the amount of toxic crap in your environment. And a lot of that comes from the things we're putting in our skin, because it goes into our bloodstream. And a lot of the time with skincare as well, I'm digressing a little bit, but a lot of these chemicals are not in Australia, I'm going to just speak from Australia. I know that it's not very regulated in terms of, it's far less regulated than what is like consumed. So pharmaceuticals and supplements, food, etc. Way less. And so you can have a chemical that might be considered safe in separation to everything else, and without the consideration of the accumulatively load. And so but there are also chemicals that are also considered toxic, and they're still used in our skincare. Now, if you want to go down this rabbit hole, look up Environmental Working Group. They have an app called Skin Deep. You can Google your product. You can search, like put in your product. A lot of the brands are in there. It has a rating. I sort of use this as a rule of thumb and go, okay, and most of mine are pretty low. Okay, you can also go next step further, get, there's an app called the Chemical Maze. You can get that, you can download it. You can go through, which is what I did like, 10 years ago, and was like going through and trying to fucking work out what was toxic and what wasn't. And as I ran out of something, I chucked it. And then I went one day, chucked a whole heap of stuff out that I knew wasn't good for me, and like pretty much started again. And now there is so much good natural skincare out there. I think you still got to be very savvy and careful with what's out there, because a lot of it is coined as natural, especially the cheaper stuff, or blah blah blah. And some of them do have less toxins in them, but they're still not totally natural. But there is also a lot of good ones out there, and I think compared to even what it was when I started doing this, it's way easier, because even now you can go to the supermarket and you can get skincare that is at least body wash, conditioner, whatever, that is not as toxic as what we're usually used to. We used to have to go to a health food shop, or like it was just harder to get. Health food shop was usually the go-to. So, which it still is for a lot of people, but there is still now a lot available. So when you're talking about chemicals, if you're going to choose skin over hair, I would go skin first, because the skin is going to go into your bloodstream. And I do know people that are like, I use all natural skincare, but hair I can't do. And I sort of, in some ways, I get it. But you got to remember there's also fumes, all that stuff. I think of hairdressers. I go to a hairdresser that uses organic products, and her salon doesn't smell. It doesn't smell like that crazy bleach. It's like a low ammonia bleach that she uses. Everything's really, and she doesn't feel sick. It doesn't stink. She doesn't get headaches. But most hairdressers are full of chemicals because they're exposed to these toxins every day. Well, so are we, just on a lesser scale. So just something to consider. But these are endocrine disruptors, right? And they can affect our thyroid, they can affect our ovulation, our fertility, all of that. So it's really important to know that it's all adds up. And looking at something in separation is fine. It's not really relevant. You've got to look at the whole picture and go, okay, what's the cumulative effect of that? So that's my little blurb on endocrine disruptors. So I'm just going to take you through some of the things that I use. And I don't have everything here, but I'm going to talk you through what I do have here, because I do go through phases of changing and mixing it up. But what I've found to work over the years for me, and what I find other people find quite helpful. First of all, makeup remover. I don't use makeup remover, I use oil. And so there's this method called the oil cleansing method, which is really cool. And basically you're getting a type of oil. Some people use coconut oil to get their makeup off on a makeup pad, and then we'll just wash that off with a washer. I find coconut oil okay to remove makeup, but if you're prone to congestion, coconut oil is more sort of can make you more congested. So I sort of steer clear of that. I use a sweet almond oil often, and I get it and I rub it all over my face. I used to use jojoba oil. That's also very good. And it's called the oil cleansing method. And basically you get it. There's brands now that make oil cleansing method mixes, because sometimes if you look it up on YouTube, there's lots of people that have done tutorials on it. But basically it's like different mixes of different oils, like castor oil and jojoba oil and sweet almond oil, or mixes like that, 1/3, like just depends. And their Mugu, the brand Mugu, does oil cleansing method now. You go into the chemist, you can buy Mugu if you're in Australia, and you can use an oil cleansing method if you don't want to make your own. You just get some, and I rub it over my face, like a little bit of a dollop, and then I get a hot washer So I get a face cloth, I put it under hot water, and then I take my makeup off, and that is how I get my makeup off. Now, some people get it and they put the hot washer on their face and let it steam. So what it does is it opens the pores, let it steam, and then let it sit there to get one, like maybe get one layer of makeup off, and then you can do it again. And that's how they clean their face, and that is all they do. They don't moisturize, they don't do anything. That is all they do. And some people swear by this. I personally don't do that. I went through a phase of doing it. Maybe I should go back. But what I say to people is just start experimenting with this. The thing about jojoba oil that I really like is jojoba oil is the oil that's the closest to the sebum that our skin produces. So it is more likely that our skin will stop producing as much oil if we're oily skin if we use jojoba oil. So you can get jojoba oil and wash your face, take your makeup off. You've done the oil cleansing method. It's like a double cleanse. And then you just use it as a little bit of moisturizer. You may want to use a toner. I'll talk about that in a minute. And you can put a couple of drops of essential oil like lemon, which is really good for scarring, or lavender, or geranium, very good for acne too, just like one drop. And you mix it, and then you put it on your face and pat it dry, and then you can pat off the excess if you have any. You don't need much. Okay, so that's the oil cleansing method. People swear by that. If you want to use oil cleansing method to take your makeup off, which is what I do, and then I use a cleanser, that is also good. Now, there's a brand called Dr. Bronner Castile soap, which is a combination of oils, and it's like a gentle cleanser, very completely natural, organic. I love that, use that on my body, was using that on my face. At the moment, I'm using Dr. Hashka because I decided to get fancy, and I actually quite like it. See? And I'm using that, but it is more expensive. But I really like that, and I wanted to give it a go because I've got a friend of mine that goes on about it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I actually can get it wholesale, which made a difference. But I tried this, but the other one I've tried is the Dr. Bronner, which I've used for years and years and years. There's another brand called Edible Beauty, which is a really nice brand. This is the toner, which I've used as well. But they do a really beautiful face wash as well. But for an economical option, Dr. Bronner is amazing. So there's some options for you. Just a really gentle, natural, all organic cleanser, right? An exfoliator, I do think if you're prone to congestion, exfoliator is really good. There's two types of exfoliators. There's a chemical exfoliators, and there's like actual, real, I don't even know what to call them, physical exfoliators. And like, like an actual exfoliator with grit in it. And you can do that. I used to make my own. I had this sand. What did I do with that sand? I had this sand, maybe, I don't know what happened to it. I had someone bring me back sand from Hayman Island, and it was this really super fine for sand. I used to just mix it with a bit of oil and it makes your skin feel amazing. I don't know what happened to that sand. That's maybe why I had to buy an exfoliator. Now I think about it. Anyway, so I was doing that for a while, totally so cheap. But what I have also experimented is there's a few, like salicylic acid is a good example of a more natural chemical exfoliator that is really good for breakouts too. Some people use things like lactic acid. The Ordinary brand do a few good ones, and you can look them up on the chemical on the Environmental Working Group Skin Deep app and just check them. But they're all quite low toxicity, which is good. So that's the Ordinary. This is the Retinol that I use with them, but I really like this brand. They're simple, it's easy. People can get carried away and obsessed with the Ordinary. I don't do that, but Yeah, that's a really good one. So there's, with people who are really congested, they do find that like a salicylic acid, something with salicylic acid in it, really good. You can also get natural face washes with salicylic acid, but I have not tried. Sometimes, and also tea tree oil washes and stuff like that, but it just needs to be gentle. So if you haven't tried the oil cleansing method and you're watching this and you're struggling with acne, I reckon you start there. That's my tip. Then you want some sort of exfoliator. There's brands called La Mav, Edible Beauty, like do an exfoliator and exfoliate a couple of times a week. I am using, actually, Dr. Hashka again. I'm almost out. There's this cream cleanser that's it's an exfoliator. I think it's got probiotics in it as well, but I'm using that as my exfoliator, which I'm really liking too. Also, again, very fancy. So making sure you're exfoliating, but not exfoliating too much on areas that are inflamed and broken. And particularly if you're more prone to congestion like blackheads, or you're congested, congested around the chin, like really keeping on top of that is really important. A lot of people with acne prone skin find that sunscreens can be a big issue. I'm very sensitive to sunscreens. They make me congested really easy. I've got to be careful. Mugu sunscreen is one of the ones that I find really good. I also use a BB cream that has sunscreen in it that doesn't congest me. So yeah, using exfoliator I think is really important. The other thing that I've been using lately, this looks a little wrong, but this is a exfoliator. I got sucked into the ad. But it's, you basically turn it on and then you exfoliate your face. And so far it's proving quite good. This part is for the T-zone, like the thicker part, but I'm quite liking it. You can put your soap on there, you put your cleanser on there, away you go. You don't have to. And the thing that I'm liking about this is I'm doing like I'm sort of letting it go in here, which is all my lymphatics, and I'm feeling it move and shift my lymphatics, and I think this is probably why it works quite well. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that one with you. I'll get back to you on that and let you know how it is. But I've been using it so far and it doesn't make my skin quite soft. That was a little spontaneous buy. Okay, exfoliator. So toner. Okay, I had a lady at my hairdresser's that used to do my eyebrows and eyelashes at the same time. She tint my eyelashes and she used all natural stuff and my eyebrows when I was at the hairdressers with my treatment in, and it was great. And she said to me, you can make your own toner, because what a toner does is it closes your pores, and use a toner with a few drops of lemon essential oil in it, rose water, lemon essential oil, or witch hazel, rose water, or even just purified water, and some drops of citrus at night. Don't use in the day because it can make you more sensitive to burning, but it closes the pores, and it actually really made a big impact to my skin. I just had my own toner for ages. That was really good. At the moment, I'm using Dr. Hashka toner, also really like that. And I'm spraying it on, and then I put an oil moisturizer on. So that's what I'm doing. But you can make your own really simple skincare, and it can be really amazing. Yeah, make your own toner. Lavender oil, geranium oil, also really nice for skin. Just be careful if you've got citrus. Like I said, you shouldn't really be putting citrus on in the morning because it makes you more susceptible to burning. But yeah, I find that really good to help with the congestion, close the pores. Moisturizer, like I was saying before, you can use a moisturizer like jojoba oil, which is spelt Jojoba. It's jojoba, but it's jojoba. And you can have that. You can use that. That's really lovely. Like I was saying before, it's very similar to the sebum the consistency. The closest oil that is the same as the sebum that our skin makes. So I'm saying sebum, not semen, just so you know. So it's really good and gentle, particularly for acne-prone skin, and you can put a couple of drops of essential oil on there as well at night, like you could do lemon, which just helps with scarring, or mandarin, or some sort of citrus blend. Lavender is good for sleep and relaxation, all of that. I'm using at the moment, which I'm really liking, where is it gone? This Dr. Hashda oil. It's a clarifying day oil, but it says you can use it at night, and I've been using it twice a day. But it balances oil for blemished skins, 1 to 3 drops. So I spray the toner and I put it in. I quite like that. The other moisturizer I like the brand, which you can't really see because it's really old, is La Mav. They do really beautiful products. It's all natural, organic. Who else? Edible Beauty do good ones. Anyway, so some sort of moisturizer. So you either try an oil or you use one that's very gentle for combination skin. But that's what I'm using. I'm all about Dr. Hashda at the moment. So I may change. But yeah, Edible Beauty is really beautiful as well. I just wanted to try the Dr. Hashda to see what the fuss was about. And I'm getting a little hooked. So yeah, what else? What are we up to? Spot treatment. So spot treatment, a really good quality tea tree oil is really powerful. A good quality one, not a crappy one. Like, make sure you're getting 100% pure. If you know someone that does Satira oils or Young Living oils, they're both beautiful. Or a really good quality one from the health food shop. Just make sure it's good quality, like you get what you pay for with tea tree oil. Like going and buying the crappy ones that are diluted and mixed, nah, it's not the same. It hasn't got the same effect, the antimicrobial effect, as what you get when you buy a good quality one. Salicylic acid, which I was talking about before, is a spot treatment, really powerful, really good. For breakouts, for congestion. The other thing that I really want to point out for a spot treatment, sometimes there's, and this is something I've discovered recently, sometimes there can be an underlying infection going on or an imbalance happening on the skin. And there's this herb called golden seal, which is really powerful for staph infections, upper respiratory tract infections, that type of thing. It's really awesome herb. But it comes, you can get it as a cream, and it's really good for, I gave it to someone who I kept getting staph infections on their face, and it worked. And I've actually been trying it too, going, okay, I just kept getting, I had these 2 breakouts here and here, and they slowly, like, I've got makeup on so you can't see, but they just would not go away. And I felt like there was like a pimple underneath. It wasn't a live pimple, but it just wouldn't clear totally. It felt like it was a bit like a big blackhead or something. And this actually is helping clear it. And it's almost gone now. So I found this really powerful, and I'm starting to give this to clients as well to try. It can be really good when you've got this underlying, you feel like you might have, it might not be cystic acne, but it's persistent sort of acne that keeps coming up and won't go away. That's worth trying. The only thing that I haven't figured out yet is it's got olive oil in it, and I'm not the biggest fan of that, but in terms of congestion, but it seems to be okay. But that's the one I'm using. It's called Aria. I think you can get it from the health food shop, but just look around, find a good quality one. Golden seal, amazing. Also really good for staph infections, right? And there could be this underlying staph thing going on. It may be helpful. What are we up to? Oh, but zinc and B3. Okay, so the Ordinary Dew, a lot of the time is skin. a lot of the time, zinc we can be deficient in zinc. I see a lot of people, and nicotinamide, which is B3. And this little baby, I'll just hold that up, is the Ordinary. It's a serum. I find this makes me break out. Some people it breaks out, and other people are like, oh my God, my skin loves this. My skin doesn't like it so much. But this is great, and I have used it before, but then I reordered and realized it actually was causing me to break out, so I stopped. But you can experiment with that. That's not expensive, so it is worth trying from a breakout point of view as well. You can apply that once or twice a day in your routine. That's sort of it. The other thing that I find so when we're talking about scarring, rosehip oil, everyone says, is really powerful for scarring. I personally find it congests my skin, so I don't use it on this part. I use it up the top and under my eyes. And you can put a few drops of essential oil at night if you want, if that's something you want to work on. The other thing that can be really powerful for scarring is this thing called alpha-lipoic acid, which is an antioxidant, and I use this as a supplement form, particularly good for insulin resistance or metabolic syndrome, but it's an antioxidant basically. And it actually does significantly reduce any pigmentation on your skin. It's very, very, very strong. You've got to be very careful. One drop, like that is it. 1 or 2 drops, and you've got to test it on your skin first. But I find that really powerful. So with lightening scars and healing scars, really good. I only do it like twice a week. Retinol is the only other thing I use, which is probably it's probably the most out of everything. It's not toxic, but you gotta be careful. It's a very low grade retinol, this one, and I just have a few drops of that, and I find that is good for scarring too. And I only do it at night, because you don't want to do that in the day, because you'll be more susceptible to sun damage. All right, so that is the lowdown. I've talked for a while on this, eh? I'm just going to run through as well, while I'm here, some of the brands of makeup that I really, really, really love. I feel like I feel, like those people that do reviews. I feel like one of those people, but I'm not. But anyway, I'm just going to show you the brands because I've experimented so much. I just want to share. So Jane Iredale makeup. I'm just going to zoom in now. Does a really good BB cream. I really love it. I like it because it's got SPF in it, and SPF, having some sort of SPF in your skincare is really good for sun damage to the skin, so you don't get wrinkles. I like this one because it's a natural mineral one. I find it really light. I find it good to put on as a day-to-day sort of cover when I'm just at home, whatever. It's really awesome. The other one I really like is a foundation. Now, excuse the dirtiness of this because it's been in my makeup bag for 100 years. It lasts a long time, is Inica. And this is a really nice foundation too, certified organic, has hyaluronic acid. Did I pronounce that right? I don't know. That's very good for keeping moisture in the skin, making it more plump. It's amazing. It's a really beautiful one, but that's more of a going out. Well, I think it's going out, but it's still not heavy makeup. If you want something a bit heavier, you might not want to go that. The other thing I really love is a Jane Iredale, this brand, the powder press. That's also got SPF in it. That is a very old case, but it's been, and that is looking very scummy, just really selling it here, aren't I? But it's a really nice, just if you want to put on a layer of mineral makeup and it sets with your oil in your skin. If your skin is not overly dry, because I've got combination skin, I find that really good. You can just quickly put it on and it will set on your skin. It's really cool. That's great. Inica do really awesome blushes, foundations, it's all cruelty free. I love their, this is an illuminator. I really love that. Great for the cheeks. As you can see, I use it a lot and it looks really scummy. This is what's this? A blush. Also really love that. As you can see, I like the blush side more so than the pink side. I maybe need to mix it up. Okay. What else? They do good foundations. Mascaras, there's this brand called Eye of Horus. And can you see that? They do an amazing eyeliner, eyeshadows, amazing mascara that's natural. Oh my goodness, amazing, amazing, amazing. It's the best natural mascara I've ever found. Hands down, over all the others. Otherwise, don't bother. But it's cruelty free. So it's a vegan one as well. They don't test on animals. This one is actually also pretty good, but it's a bit more clumpy. 100% pure. It smells great. It smells a bit like blueberry, but I don't like the consistency as much. Not as good as Eye of Horus. That's all. I'm not going to go into too much more, but you get the gist. Inika is where it's at. I really like Inika and I really like Jane Iredale, and that's pretty much the brands I use. I've got to use a few other lippies. That's it. I'm not very complicated with my makeup. Oh, one more thing. If you do want a really good eyeshadow, Inika do really good eyeshadows that last for freaking years, because like you need a tiny little bit. So they are like sort of, well, I don't know. I don't even know how much they are, like $30 for a pot. But it lasts honestly so long. But this is great. This one is Peach Fetish, which I have on now. Yes. So yeah, there you go. I hope that helped. If you've got any questions, please let me know. I went more into makeup and felt really girly. I felt like maybe I should have worn something more girly. I don't know. But my point is 20% outside, 80% inside, maybe 90%. If I'm going to be biased, I'm going to say 90%, 10%. But it is important to find good makeup. There's no excuse to use conventional makeup now. Some people are really stand strong by their things, but just think about the things that you use all the time in your skin and it goes into your bloodstream, particularly makeup. Start with the makeup and just go, maybe I change to a foundation that is natural, and try that and see how I go, and then go from there. But there is so many good brands now and they've just been amazing, and lots of them have got good reviews when you go to different websites to buy them. So it's not as hard as what it used to be. I've tried and tested lots, and I tell you, those two brands for makeup are amazing. Those three, Jane Iredale, Inika, and Eye of Horus, amazing. So if you've got any questions, let me know. I hope you found that helpful. But you know, it's just important to know that if you have skin issues, you've got to be working on it from an inside job, and then just keep the outside reasonably simple. I know I talked about a lot of different stuff, but just remember that your skin is if your skin is oily, it's producing oil. It's like, ask yourself the question, is what I'm doing making my skin worse? Is it making it more oil? That type of thing. You know, and maybe the one thing you do if you've got persistent acne that doesn't matter what you do that you can't get rid of, you try Golden Seal. That's a good starting point too. Yeah, let me know, reach out, and I hope you found that helpful, and I will see you all next week. See ya.